This is Scott from Autonomist.
Aaron Levesque from Autonomist, and you're listening to Honest Brutality.
Created by the people, created for the people. No holds barred, no punches pulled, just honest brutality. I don't know what the fuck you guys are thinking, but you don't ever talk about my band again. What's this honest brutality shit anyway?
Honest Brutality.
Hey everybody, it's Big Sloppy, Honest Brutality, my boy Evil Irk.
What is going on?
Today, we got the boys from Autonomist. What's up, boys?
What's going on?
Hey, why don't you guys introduce yourselves for our audience?
Scott, bass player. Slapping the bass. The good shit.
Yep, Aaron Levesque, guitar player.
All right. Well, let's talk about your music a little bit, boys. If you had to describe your sound, I call it badass, but how would you describe it?
For me, the way I describe it is kind of Maiden meets Rush meets Floyd with all the modern technology kind of in a way, because it has the feel changes, you know, like it's got layers and there's depth, you know, so everything kind of invokes something versus being just one, you know, thing, because it does have like a wall of sound.
Absolutely.
But then it also kind of backs away and lets you breathe, and, you know, so that's kind of how I describe it if I could. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, what he said.
Definitely melodic, instrumental,
sure.
you know, stuff. It's kind of cool. There's no vocals. We kind of like it like that.
Yeah.
More room for interpretation for the listener, for, you know, if you like that kind of thing.
It's interesting because you're the second band we've come across in recent time that we've talked to that's kind of doing the same thing. And it's not every day that you find bands that are primarily instrumental. They're out there playing and playing shows. But we talked to a band called Machine in the Mountain recently and went out and saw them. And when we saw them, we were absolutely floored. They sucked everybody in. It was like this vacuum. And I think it was not because there wasn't vocals, but because the guitars and the drums and everything was singing for the band, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, you don't have, you know, when you have like that front man or that certain vocal, that kind of becomes the band. It's like, oh, so that band's got a growling singer. Okay.
Right.
And it's going to make or break your fan base, you know?
Right.
So if you have just instrumental stuff, it's kind of cool, in my opinion. You can just kind of like, especially if you're seeing them live, you're watching the whole band play. You can focus on the drummer for a minute, or the guitar player, or that guy does a solo or something. And it's not just like this backing of the front man kind of thing, you know?
Absolutely. Was this a conscious decision when you guys set out and started playing and forming the group, or did it just sort of evolve into it?
No, it was definitely a conscious decision for sure, because we had all been in bands before this where there was vocals and stuff like that. I don't know. We all kind of got together and just decided, let's do instrumental this time.
So also add a little bit, it's been able to get us out to a bit more of a reach because there is no like language barrier. You know what I mean? A lot of people, if it's in a certain language or whatever, they just won't, you know, they don't understand it. They won't listen to it. So the fact that there is no vocals, it literally allows everybody,
Oh, I see.
regardless of what you can
that's totally
understand, to engage as well too.
Appealing to a global market.
Well, and there's the other thing, like I was saying before, I mean, some people hate it when people growl, or some people hate it when people scream, or they don't like the clean vocals. It's like, people are so picky, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But everybody loves it when a band shreds.
Right.
Right. So it kind of works out. But then there's also people who are like, oh, you guys should have vocals.
So listen,
And we-
Whatever. Fuck it.
It's not like we just haven't found the right person, really. We're not against it. We just haven't, you know.
For like a vocal thing, I think it'd be cool, like, to have a like guest vocalist and stuff like that. I think that would be like really cool, because it'd be not the same person for every song, or, you know,
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
maybe have 5 instrumental songs and 2 with guest vocals on it. Because vocals are great. I mean, I just went to Tool a week ago and sang along with all the songs, you know? It's
Right.
like,
well, you know, Yngwie did that forever. He had a few songs with vocals, and most of the songs were just instrumentals. And I love listening to the Yngwie stuff as well. But I think as a band, if you're just going to be instrumental, you got to have some fucking balls. You got to really believe in your music, and it takes a lot to stand on a stage and say, "Here's what we got, love it or leave it." and we're here to kick your ass. And I dig that fucking vibe myself.
Totally, yeah. And I don't know, I think if you have the right kind of songs where they're, at least semi-interesting, or we think it's interesting or whatever, it can work,
Are you guys classically trained, self-taught? What's the consensus?
I barely did some schooling, back when they had music in schools when I was a kid. I learned some basic theory and took a couple guitar lessons, basic stuff. David, actually, our drummer, he's actually more trained than all of us as far as music goes.
Right.
He's actually has a really good ear. He knows music theory really well. And
yeah, I think he has his degree in it.
And then Sean, he's pretty much learned by ear. And
Sean's self-taught. I'm self-taught. We just kind of
Wow.
play what we play. I mean, it's a lot of it's Aaron and Sean and Dennis from time to time. They'll just kind of riff into fucking insanity, hundreds. I don't know how many fucking riffs. I mean, to me, all of it's like, yeah, we could use that. And they're like, nope. Again and again. And I'm like,
yeah, being a little bit picky kind of helps too. Because I mean,
absolutely,
even if you don't have any musical training, you can
right.
play shit over and over, like until you find something that like gives you a certain feeling or feels good. And you're like, oh,
right,
I like that. And then your buddy likes it too. And you're like, oh, cool, okay,
yeah,
let's use that.
How did you guys find each other? Have you known each other a long time? Was it something that kind of gelled and came together later on?
Kind of both, really. I work at Ukiah Brewing Company. Been making beer there for 10 years or something off and on. And
hold on, time out. You work at a brewing company?
I do.
I want to introduce my new favorite band, Autonomist. I cannot wait to meet. Matter of fact, we're going to be at the Redwood MetalFest with you guys.
I'll give you a black tooth grin, I promise you.
All right.
Okay. So anyway, you were saying you work at the brewery.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
Yes, I work at the brewery, and the brewery is a venue. It's been a venue from time to time, and all the guys in the band, before I was even there, would go play open mics and see shows, and they kind of met that way for the most part, right?
Pretty much. It was like we were in separate bands. I was in a band, Synchronic, years and years ago. And I met Dennis, who's in our band now. And I was kind of bummed because he's like, hey, I started this new band with my buddy Bill, and it was Definition Unknown. I was like, oh, I really want to be. And Sean was also in that band. I was like, damn, I wish I could be in a band with those guys. So their band broke up. My band broke up. And we're like, hey, let's join together. So we joined up, made this fucking band. Then we found Scott. Well, we already knew Scott for years and years, but
yeah. They knew me from playing metal shows at the brewery, though. So I got the job there, started whipping ass, getting everybody fucked up. And then I realized there's local fucking quality metal. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm literally like, wait, what? And these guys come here and kick it. So I just right there was like, fuck yeah, I got to kick it with those dudes. It'd be fun to fucking, do some shit. And, life does what it does. You go in and out. They asked me at the time before they formed Autonomist in their separate bands. Aaron had his band for a minute, Convergence. Oh,
Convergence, that's right.
Yeah, so it was Convergence and Definition Unknown. They played a show together, and they fucking killed it. Killer show. And they asked me to play bass in their band, and I was having my first baby, working full-time. I didn't have finances to get the right gear and shit, so I passed. And then he's saying that both bands disbanded and came together to form Autonomist, and the position opened up temporarily, and I hopped in, and that was it. We were linked. That was the group, and from then. Yeah,
it was a great feeling. We actually got the 5 people. I mean, because we've known each other for so long, it's not been it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So it was so cool. Like finally, this group seems, just like, okay, here we are. Finally, it happened. Cool.
Yeah.
Right, let's go.
Well, let's paint the picture for our audience here a little bit, because you guys are in Ukiah, which most people in the U.S., let alone the rest of the world listening to this, have no damn clue where Ukiah is and how unique it is to be able to find kick-ass musicians in a small area like that. I mean, it's hard enough in a large metropolitan area to find a good band.
Yeah.
And yet to come together in a little place like Ukiah, explain to our audience what you guys are up against being in that community you're in.
Oh, man. Well, yeah. Like if our drummer quit, we'd be like, oh, fuck. we don't know anyone else. There's no one here really. Yeah, I mean, it is actually. I've thought about this. It's amazing that we've all come together and formed this group in this little town. It's fucking crazy. I don't think it's something that would be very common. It's crazy.
Well, I think too, also because of the scarcity of people being available instead of it being just everyone's available. I think that it does kind of make people. There's so many bands that are now coming up that are brand new and old school, like Embryonic Devourment and Goreskin Coffin, Iron Assault. Plenty of bands that are many different generations in age, and I mean. I think that it kind of brings more out of people because we know that our resources are limited. I mean, there's San Francisco, which is 2 hours south of us, and then Oregon's like 5 or 6 hours north, and there's nothing. Sacramento's 3 hours east, and then 15 minutes west, there's the edge of the earth, the fucking ocean,
Right.
So we know that everybody's either doing something or it's like kind of our lifestyle too is another factor. We kind of just do what we do. When it works, we're not really rushing things as much as we want to, life just does what it does, and people kind of hold space for each other to experience those things.
Yeah, I guess it's a little more of like a family vibe when you live like in a smaller town like this. So so we know everybody that's doing things. Like Brian, he's doing killer shit, man. Like being able to put the ground in and get everybody together, link with everyone, keep everything good. You know what I mean? Like get the venues, get the support, like. He's doing big shit in a little town.
Yeah.
And it's making a big fucking ripple.
Yeah.
And once it pops open, man, like all the bands that have been working for so long, can finally get like a little bit of exposure to fucking get out there and show what, everything up here. Cause we're surrounded by mountains.
And trees.
Trees and mountains and fucking
and water.
It's a beautiful place, like inspiration everywhere.
Right.
So,
well, what he's doing is really amazing. In fact, this has been a long time coming. We've been working with Brian or talking with Brian for a long time. As you may know, we did a podcast with him about a year ago. Had him on just because we thought it was such an amazing feat to be able to pull off, to do these shows where he's pulling all these people in what is essentially a black hole for venues, because there's talent, there's bands, but there's not a lot of places for them to play. They have to travel to San Francisco, Sacramento. For those of you listening who don't understand the geography of California and the area, it is an immense state. It is huge. And when we say Northern California, a lot of people automatically assume that you're thinking Bay Area or you're meaning Sacramento. And that's not even close.
It's not even close, right?
I think the population is like 15,000 in Mendocino County.
Yeah.
So and that's everything. So the only venue now is the Brewing Company. That's where all the metal shows and shit. That's where everybody's going to go play. There's the pub too. Yeah. There's a few venues popping up that are supportive along, our genres.
Like, don't forget about the pub. It's awesome.
Well, you guys are awesome. Your music is badass. And you're playing the Redwood MetalFest August 19th in downtown Ukiah.
Is this your guys' first go around on this show?
It is, yeah.
It's going to be our first time there as well. We're really looking forward to it.
Any of you been to Ukiah ever?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Through there. I've never actually spent any time there. I think I got a buffalo burger there once. I can't remember, a little cafe there.
We were slated to play last year, but my work schedule, I had to do a beer fest. I couldn't get back in time to make the event due to our slot. So we decided to pull. I had to work. So it's kind of one of those things. So we made sure we wanted to, if he offered it to us again, make sure we could get it right, do it right. And
for sure.
I think it's going to be a great opportunity for you, and I think it's going to be great for the audience.
For sure.
Oh, totally. The venue's actually pretty cool. It's outside. There's going to be vendors around. It's a nice spot.
It's literally in a park in downtown Ukiah, correct?
Yeah, totally.
Yep,
yeah.
right downtown.
We are looking forward to meeting you guys face to face and spending some time with you and spending some time at the Redwood Metal Festival. It's going to be great. We're calling it the Metal Festival, but he's actually got 2 stages this year. It's going to be kind of cool with a punk stage and a metal stage and be alternating all day long. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a blast, man.
I think it's actually going to work out better because the last couple of years when I attended, you got to, you get that breakdown time and setup time.
Yeah. Load in, load out.
Venue, there's not like a huge backstage where they roll the drum riser on and shit, So it's like going back and forth. I think will help it out for sure. Keep it more interesting. And
we thank you so much for taking the time today. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to?
If you want to hear a 9.5-minute single, we just came out with one. Called Ataraxia. That's pretty cool.
Well, we'll play it on our show. How's that sound?
Yeah,
do
that'd
it
be
up,
sweet.
All right, perfect. For the listening audience, how do they reach out? How do they talk to you guys? How do they book you guys? Find your music, listen to your music. Where's it at?
Facebook, Bandcamp, CD Baby. Those are probably the three biggest ones.
iTunes. I think we're on iTunes too.
Yeah, we're on all the radio
All
stations
the
and all that.
platforms.
stuff.
Spotify. We got a Pandora radio station.
Yep,
Check
on
that
Pandora.
out too.
Yep.
Um,
Pretty much anything
all
social
the-
media, you can find us.
yep.
Thanks again for taking the time to talk with us.
Man, thank you guys. This was actually really fun. I kind of want to do it again.
Holy shit, those guys were fun.
You know, it's really heartening that we talk to these bands that are all over the world and they tell us they're from small towns and
Yeah.
we don't always relate because we can't geographically go there and you know, experience it.
Right.
But we've both been to this small town.
Yeah, yeah.
And we know what the
It is a
dynamics
cool
are.
little town, by the way.
It is super cool.
And a great place to hold a festival, by the way. It's going
And
to be a lot
probably
of
a
fun.
great place to raise a family. I mean, you know, it's a nice area. But
yeah.
it really is in the middle of kind of nowhere. And I don't mean like in a bad way. I just
Yeah.
mean there's not a lot there.
It's not a drive-through area. You have to make that
It's a destination.
destination.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see these talented group of dudes get together, do what they're doing. And again, Brian, Sticky Tips, and the Redwood MetalFest. This is not just for the record. This is one of many shows, but this is kind of the big show. This is
Right.
the one.
Right.
So, you know, if you're in California, or if you're coming out this way, this August 19th, come on down to Ukiah, check this thing out because you're not going to be regretting it. And not only that, it's free. It's a free frickin' show.
Look, my favorite concerts are free.
And my favorite beer,
My first favorite beer is free. My
Right?
second favorite is cold.
this I know, my friend.
That's right. Anyway.
That's why the fridge is empty. Now check it out. Go over, give these guys some love, spread it around, buy their music, follow them on Facebook, whatever it takes. Help them out, give them some support. You're not
Give 'em
going
a
to be
share,
sorry.
for God's sake. Jesus
Absolutely.
Christ.
Share them around and give us some love. Come on over to honestbrutality.com. Check us out. Check us out on all of our socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also find us on Rock Rage Radio. We have 2 shows there, one on Saturday, one on Tuesday. Come on over, give us a listen there. In the meantime, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Be good people. Take care of each other. And most importantly,
Stay metal!
This is Aaron Levesque.
This is Scott Jones.
This is our new single, Ataraxia, from the band Autonomist on Honest Brutality.
Check it out. Cheers.
August 19th,
2017.
Ukiah, California. Redwood MetalFest, presented by Mendo Metalheads.
Featuring
Potential Threat. Infects. Autonomist. Schizo.
Sinners request back to the grave, spreading disease.
And many more. 2 stages of free, all-ages show in downtown Ukiah. Brought to you by Mendo Metalheads, Honest Brutality, and Rock Rage Radio.
We are
everywhere.